We're back here on the platform, and today we are speaking with Bianca Nygard and Christine Carey, and we are talking about wellness. And there's a video that is going to be shown in a little while about aging and death, eh? But Christine, you were speaking before the break about when I asked you whether or not you can have too much fruit, and you said you can't, but I guess I can have too much fruit, right? How do you take, what portions should you be using when you are eating, say, fruits for breakfast?
That is a question that is difficult to answer specifically because we have to, there's a word that describes people when it comes to their overall wellness, which is bio-individuality, which means that your environment, Bianca's environment, and mine are going to be completely different, and so what works for me won't necessarily work for either of you, and vice versa.
Okay.
If you follow the general nutritional guidelines, you ought to have a cup to 2 cups of fruit per day maximum. And those fruits would really be focused on whatever's local and in season, or berries, which are very good for detoxification. So we are used to common fruits here, like apples, bananas, watermelon, pineapple, mango if they come in season. But we don't really have much diversity beyond that, which is fine, because I truly believe in eating from your own land. We haven't been able to do that 100% yet, but fine. So if you look at the things that are around us, we have tamarinds that come in season. How many tamarinds can you eat at one time? If they're sweet and a little sour. Not too many, a few of them. If you pick an orange off of a tree, you have usually 1 orange and that's sufficient. So what you want to do is follow the cup, or what can fit into your hand rule. If it's berries, blueberries, strawberries, raspberries, let it be this much. The key thing is, Mr. Jones, is that we want to infuse our diet with cleansing foods, and cleansing foods are vegetables, dark leafy greens primarily, and secondary to that are fruits.
Okay. Revolutions Against Aging and Death, this video, tell us about it.
I found it exceptionally interesting, and I emailed Bianca after I had seen it, because I, first of all, had no idea that this science was being pursued at the level it was being pursued by A, somebody who I know, and B, somebody who resides in our country and has made it accessible for the rest of this global community, as a point of origin being the Bahamas. Also, that this new science is really pioneering the way that I, even as a holistic health coach, my focus has always been on how do you create the best quality of life while you have it. Yeah, sure, maybe I'd like to live until 100, maybe 105, but I don't ever want to be diseased. I don't ever want my kids to have to take care of me and change diapers, or I'd be a cripple. That's not quality for me. I want to be able to live in purpose and mission every single day, and I need my health to do that. Now with what Peter and his team are putting together is an understanding that not only can I live for a longer period of time to affect a greater period of change on my community, but I can do it in such a way that I can be healthy and strong. And I think that is exciting and exceptional. I also love to see that our Bahamian government this was the place where we made legislation to enact this being possible for the world. I get goosebumps. I have so much pride about that. You know?
Yes.
It's awesome.
So, let's take a look at it.
Okay.
Let's take a look at this video. Revolutions Against Aging and Death. We take a look, we'll come back.
Our next speaker is a real tiger. Introducing Peter Nygard, a world-renowned designer. For over 50 years, he's built himself up from nothing to a self-made billionaire. And what does that really take? It takes a real power of necessity. Something has to become a die-hard must in your life to pull something like this off. You will be hearing from Peter just now. He's going to tell us about a stem cell technology he's working with to really accelerate the reversal of aging. And welcome, Peter Nygard.
Thank you very much. I just want to start off by complimenting Bill Balloon and Jim Stroll for this wonderful conference. I've been to, yes, I think this deserves it. Actually, Jim, I put the jacket on so I would look more like you. I've been to about, since I started this 6 years ago, I've been to about 40 different conferences. I must say I have nothing, ever had something as beneficial as this. And this is truly what really feels like home, really feels like family. Somebody mentioned that. I just love it. Thank you so much. You know, I thought I was crazy 6 years ago when I started going for this word called immortality, and I was afraid to use it and continually because people thought I was a complete kook. And it hasn't been until this last year where this thing is really taken hold, you know. And I'm so grateful that we got so many people who are on the same page as I've been for the last 6 years. I started at age 69. I'll put a picture of me. There I am. Yes, that's me, 69 years old, aged, fat, look my age, look unhealthy. And I went down for some solutions. I was just trying to save my mom's life, and I got into this world called stem cells. I walked into Ray Kurzweil's seminar, and a light came on. Immortality. And I couldn't believe that this light came on. And after that, I wanted to find out right away who his doctor was, Terry Grossman. And Terry started me on all this stuff, and Terry spoke here earlier right now. I'm so very grateful you do, Terry, that you got me on the right path over here. You know, preventive medicine. We then went into this program, and I'll show you what happened. Right here, you can see the program that I was on, and after 3 years, there I am with Mel Gibson, and there I am at the end, you know, with all that muscle that I have right now, gone from 215 pounds down to 190 at that point. And the danger with that shot is right now is, and I warn you guys, if you do this, it's very dangerous because all the girls want to jump you. Don't take off your shirt. Here's what we did as far as diet is concerned. It's not that complicated. The number one issue there is the diet. No sugar, white carbs, no resaturated oils, bottled or packaged sodas or foods. That statement says it all, and I think we'll be talking about that over and over again at this conference, you know, about the issue of eating. And if you don't eat right in the first place, nothing after that will work. No matter exercise, no matter stem cells, whatever it is, if you don't start right there, nothing else will work. And I was addicted to sugar. My mom and dad were bakers, and we were weaned on sugar, and they were diabetic. And that's where I got that big stomach from. That was the hardest thing I could do, to break that habit. And I was such a big hero all of my life because I've been telling people to stop smoking and giving people incentives and paying me sometimes $10,000 to start smoking. And I looked in the mirror and I said, what about you, Nygard? What about getting rid of your addiction, you know? And the hardest thing I ever did in the world is to give up that sugar addiction. And I did. And I don't need any sugar right now. In fact, now, after 6 years, if I get sugar, my body says, why'd you do it? It tastes awful. You know, I have to drink it back I have to take a beer and get rid of that taste. I drank 6 beers. I got it down to 1 now. I drink a little bit of red wine, etc. And I've been practicing pretty well everything that we're talking about these conferences. And in fact, it's very interesting to see that I don't think that I missed one of these issues that we have at this conference right now in terms of the recommendations. I've been involved with all of them, except the brain. And I noticed in that brain issue, you know, that you had the intuition, you know, you had the emotion and the intelligence. I must say that intuition has been a thing that really brought me to the fame that I end up having, the success I end up having. I always have had the right intuition about doing the right thing at the right time, just as it was to get into this kind of business. And it's that part that I am telling you right now, is that my intuition about where to go with this subject is what I'm going to present to you right now. I got involved with stem cells, not only normal stem cells, but the most important stem cell of them all, embryonic one. Not only embryonic one, but the autologous embryonic one. And that became the word called SCNT, somatic cell nucleus transfer. And I was responsible for making it happen. Everybody else had given up on it. We take all the way back to Dolly the sheep, and I started waving that flag, intuition. Not only that, that once we discovered it, I had to think about the next step, and that was the issue about getting past FDA. We were not going to be able to use it, even though we discovered it, for the next 20 or 30 years. And I got busy, and I started writing laws for other countries, so they could actually have an environment in which you could take and practice and translate this SCNT stuff into some real therapy for all of us. I did that with a number of countries. And I think that's a good one, because the FDA was holding us back then, and it's holding us back even more now. And we have to get the hell out of there in order to do this radical stuff. You won't be able to do the radical stuff here in the United States. You have to take that radical stuff somewhere else, like I did. I took it in China, I took it in other places. But we talk a lot about this radical stuff. You're not going to be able to do radical stuff here in the United States. And we got so much discoveries out there, and we're not going to be able to use it unless we take it offshore. And I'll present a little tape to you in that regard, because this time is going fast, and you'll see what I mean. Oh yeah, that's me now. Now that's from 69, that's a younger than 69 right now. All my inside numbers are the same. Here's the tape. Now pay attention, I'm going to ask questions later.
Since the dawn of time, great men have challenged the status quo and dared to dream.
For every new pioneer, only time can unlock the future. Only history will tell the story.
This is CNN Breaking News.
The University of Oregon made a major announcement on stem cells, one that could lead to breakthroughs in the treatment of Parkinson's, cancer, and many other diseases. For the first time, human skin cells have been transformed into embryonic stem cells. Dr. Shukrat Matalipov of the University of Oregon were successfully able to insert an adult skin cell into an unfertilized human egg, which had been stripped of its existing DNA.
So that way the stem cells we create, they would be compatible if we transplant these tissues back into patients.
The process, called somatic cell nuclear transfer, or SCNT, is not new, but the results are and are considered to be a quantum leap forward in the reversal of aging and the treatment of disease.
The stem cells came to its own with Dolly the sheep in 1997. Up until now, the problem has been one of rejection. Our body simply rejects all foreign objects put into it, including somebody else's stem cells.
It's been 15 years since we invented embryonic stem cell. No one figured out to use it.
You know, ever since scientists discovered embryonic stem cells, they wanted to be able to tailor-make those cells with the genetic material of the patients they're trying to treat. And this is the technique that would finally be able to accomplish that goal.
From the woman's egg, we took out her DNA, put my old 70-year-old DNA in its place, grew it in vitro, developed embryonic stem cells, 8-0. This is huge. This is a game changer. This could eliminate all disease. This perhaps is immortality.
Peter Nygard, a Finnish-Canadian fashion tycoon and self-made billionaire who parlayed an $8,000 loan into an empire with annual profits in the hundreds of millions.
I want to live forever or die trying.
Bring the action.
One man, younger at heart than those half his age, living a life most could only dream of, yet sharing his collective fortune with our collective human fate. To live forever. A 1,000-year-old quest made by the legendary Ponce de Leon, the Spanish explorer who spent his days searching for the fountain of youth.
Ponce de Leon had the right idea. He was just too early. That was then. This is now.
Preach. If you want something different, beloved, you got to do something different.
This has always been a four-step plan: to find the right technology,
to find the right country, to write the proper laws, and to get the correct facility.
Currently, there are two leading technologies in stem cell duplication, SCNT and what is called IPS, induced pluripotent stem cells.
But when I asked anybody which would actually be better, IPS or SCNT, well, of course SCNT, if we could ever get past the religious objections and all the bad PR it's getting.
Last time when it was announced by some Korean researchers, it turned out to be a hoax, right? Or
it was a fraud.
SCNT was dropped altogether. Nobody was interested in it longer. Nobody except me.
Critics say the stem cells come from destroying embryos, and my newsmaker tonight says that that is simply not true.
The way in which these stem cell lines were derived is from embryos that are created in the process of in vitro fertilization. And in fact, there are hundreds of thousands of these embryos that are simply being discarded.
We throw in the garbage. We shouldn't do that.
And so in 2009, Peter Nygard creates Nygard Biotech, employing 4 top scientists from around the world in the field of SCNT, channeling his tremendous energy towards finding the missing link in stem cell technology.
The top scientist in SCNT.
I'll give you my DNA now.
And one of them was Russian. And of course the Russian was discovered it.
Well, I'm very glad in any event that you stayed on it, that you made this huge discovery.
Well, this is a very well-respected, well-known team of scientists out at Oregon Health and Science University.
The technology is real, so it works. It's done deal.
I may be the only person in the world who has my own embryonic stem cells growing in a petri dish. Can you imagine that? In that petri dish, that is me before I was born. Science fiction? Scientific fact.
When we die, the money we can't keep, but we probably spend it all because the pain ain't cheap.
With the Western world still embroiled in political debate over embryonic stem cells, Peter set out to find a suitable host country.
We traveled everywhere in the world now for the last 2 years, just looking.
In Shenzhen, Peter forges a partnership with BGI, the world leader in genome sequencing, technology that eliminates all guesswork in medical diagnosis. Combined with SCNT, he would possess both the technology to target future health risks and correct them before they ever happen. But owning the right technology would mean nothing without a country to embrace its use.
Bahamas is almost like the 51st state of the United States. Sits there half an hour away from Miami. I initiated and helped to write the stem cell legislation, and I took them to many countries. Ultimately, the Bahamas adopted them into law.
The Bahamas now has the opportunity to host several important stem cell initiatives.
Prime Minister Christie has shown tremendous courage and political savvy in order to guide this through the legislature. I don't think I've ever seen or been at a more beautiful place.
2 years ago, Peter Nygard called me to say that if your country is prepared to pass legislation, I would find a way to bring scientists who I have retained, and I'm prepared to have them come into the Bahamas.
But I want you to know that stem cell legislation will be passed by us today.
God bless Peter Nygard. So Bahamas stands alone in being a unique country that has written laws and has made SCNT legal.
Who's gonna save the world?
It's been said that if you build it, they will come.
This is basically building a new Mayo Clinic.
Now, on an island paradise, Peter Nygard will join hands with the will of a nation and the legislating power of the Bahamian government to build the world's first state-of-the-art clinic to integrate genomic sequencing and SCNT technology, free of political restriction and years ahead of its time. This will be the first of many future Nygard clinics in places like India, Macau, and Thailand.
He has risked everything: his fortune, his reputation, even his own body.
Now look at my before and after pictures. I come from anti-aging to reverse aging. I've been on stem cell therapy now 4 times a year for the past 3 years. I'm a living testimonial that this really works.
The time has come.
This is a quantum leap.
The future is now.
This is Peter Nygard's message through the effort of stem cell research that God has already given us our own medicine tucked within our bodies. Keep my head from going down just for a little, just for a little. Watch my feet go off the ground just for a little, just for a little. You can hear this sound. Oh, just give me something.
If you don't risk anything, you risk everything.
It's a damn good tape, you know. It's been around for 2 years right now. It's one of the most played off tapes there is in the world right now in terms of this immortality. I'm going to just tell you, I don't have that much time, any time actually. This is the closest thing to immortality that we have today. If we get on with this embryonic, autologous embryonic stem cell, we have no idea what we can do with it. But it is real answer to immortality right here. And I got so many more things to do. I've been taking stem cells for 6 years now, 4 times a year, probably more than anybody else, and look at the results. It has proven out to be so, and my body and everything else is a good testimony to that. I'm going to start taking embryonic stem cells in November. I'm taking my own exosomes already, et cetera, et cetera. I think about 10 different things right now, you know, that I can hardly wait to tell you about in our next meeting. So enjoy.
Thank you so much, panelists. First question I have, if you're going to live to 500 years, what would you like to master? I would love to master Argentinian tango. Yeah. What would you love to master? Peter?
I like to master immortality.
Yeah.
Woo! And I like to do it through SCNT.
Fantastic. Well, you're doing it. Thank you. Peter, when will Nygard Biotech open in the Bahamas?
I don't want to answer that question. I want to tag on to his statement. I spent about $20 million now in this last 6 years looking into this whole subject and reaching and going to with most important people in the world and learning something about it. I'll tell you what I really learned, you know, and this is a pretty simple way of putting it. You know, old age is the perfect host for disease. And if you don't want to get disease, don't get old. And we run out of stem cells. That's the reason we get old. And take stem cells. That's my message. That's what I've been doing. That's what it works, especially embryonic, especially new, young, energetic stem cells. We just don't take enough stem cells. That's my message to all of you who are here right now. Take stem cells.
That's right.
So, thank you. Is there a cost that you can tell us about for the stem cell treatment? Or is that a long dialogue?
Was it to me?
Yeah.
What was the question?
What's the cost of the stem cell treatment?
There's various costs, you know.
Okay.
But just this basic stem cell treatment that you take it from umbilical cord for mesenchymal stem cells, they'll run somewhere from $15,000 to $25,000, you know, and it's worth every cent. You know? And I've been doing it for years. And you can't really do it in the United States. I've been doing it in China with my Chinese partners who are here right now, as well as in Panama. Nygard has one of the best stem cells in the world right now. The last one I took over there, it was remarkable, wow. You know, what we do. So I sent as many of my friends over there to take these stem cells from in Panama, for example, from Nygard's clinic. So it's something that is expensive today, but the costs are going to go down there. But it's worth every penny of it.
There you saw the video on anti-aging and death. It was very good of you to produce this, to bring this along, Bianca.
It's very exciting. It's really exciting stuff, and I love Kristine's reaction to everything. That was my reaction as well. When I first saw it, it brought tears to my eyes, actually. And it is amazing that the Bahamas is in such a great position to become a medical tourism spot, you know, and especially right now with these economic times and everything. So it's very exciting how close we are to have that legislation passed.
It's good that beyond selling Nygard Slims, that you are about educating people about wellness. I find that to be very good, very fascinating. You know, the last time you came here, we were talking about Nygard Slims and how women can get involved in business and all the rest of it. And here we are today talking about wellness, which is a very good thing.
Thank you so much. It's my own journey too, you know, led by my dad, an example, by people that I see like Christine and others that, you know, you look at them and you really want what they have, you know. You see her and you're like, okay, tell me your secret, what is it? Tell me everything that you're doing, I need to know, you know, really, because you don't know. I don't know, you know, and even as much research as I do or what I get told, you're always learning and it's always changing too. So it's just nice to be able to have a platform like your show and as I find out these exciting things, to be able to share it with everybody.
You know, I met Christine some years ago and she informed me now that she has, what, 3 children? Yeah. And, you know, looking at her and her body, you can you know, you can tell that she's been doing the right things, and so it's your diet really that accounts for how you were able to maintain your weight, your size.
Definitely diet. The other thing is understanding how to maneuver through stress. You know, stress is a big deal, and breaking bad habits. You know, it's not easy all the time, but once you understand the keys that work for you, then you don't even have to think about it anymore. But it's a process, and it's taken me a little while to understand what my keys are, and once our community truly gets their own, and we come back to this concept of bio-individuality, once you know what works for you, just do it, and do it really well, and stick to it.
But there are a whole lot of people who just don't know what works for them.
Exactly,
yes.
And this is why we work in community on platforms like this, where we can deepen the conversation. And, you know, when people say to you, well, I have, my schedule's too full, or, you know, I don't know how to manage time. Well, how about you put your gym clothes in the car first thing in the morning, and right after you leave work, you put your clothes on and you go for a 15-minute walk. And you just do that 7 times, and after 7 times, your body's gonna start to want it more and more. All you need to do is buckle that seatbelt 7 times, and then you're gonna be buckling it all the time.
Let's take a final break here on the platform. We'll come right back.